Three things you must know in order to succeed in sales. And the first I and at the beginning, it's integrity. It's about integrity. Integrity. Okay? Selling for most people, anything to do about selling for most people is many times associated with cunningness, with manipulation, with lying. You know, a salesperson will say anything, right? This is it's usually not even car salesman, it's the second-hand car salesman that we have as a, so they will say anything in order to get you this junk so you can depart with your money. And I don't think that it should be this way. I don't think that selling has to be this way. I don't think that there needs to be any cunningness, any manipulation, any lying when you're selling. Selling is something that you do in order to get the most value to your prospect. Well, it's not yet a client, but to your prospect. Okay? So for me, it's important that when you go and sell, you come from a place of integrity, which means that you only offer your product or service if you really believe in it, if you really 100% believe in it. And that's what we talked about in, I think, a lot during the passive income is, make sure that you're giving them what you believe in. If I will ask you, would you buy your product or service, and you say, I'm not sure or no, then, and it happens many times. Okay, it happens many times. Many people are selling products or services that they don't really believe in them. And it shows. You will not be successful, and I think it's wrong for the market. The other thing is make sure that you only offer your product or services to those that can really that can really benefit from it. That can really benefit from it. And that means that you do make sure that you take a look at your prospects or those people that say, I want to buy or I'm interested, and you check, is that person is going to benefit from that? There are times that we tell our students or certain students, don't go for the next training. It's not right for you. You're anyway not implementing. First, implement that before we move you to the next step, for example. Or sometimes people are really excited to do something, but I don't think that they will ever benefit from that because it's not for them. When we do information evening for the Write Your Book, people need to come to me to ask for what we call a promotion package. Which we will promote their book to our clients. And they need to come to me, they need to tell me who is their target audience, and I need to agree and to think that this is valuable for them. They're paying me thousands of euros for that. And I still will talk to each and every one of them, see if it's right for them or not. And if it's not, I tell them not. And 2/3 of the people I reject. I just lose a couple of €1,000 for each one of them. It's not important. It's important that I stay with integrity, that I know that product will deliver the most value to that person. Is that making sense? Make sure about that. Most of you are willing to work with anyone that have a wallet and a pulse. We talked about it before. No. Work with those people that you can benefit them the most. Making sense? For me, that's part of integrity. The third one is only offer the quantity that they really need. And I think I gave that example before. If you have a cure for cancer, and the cure for cancer is dose water, and they need, in order to cure the cancer, they need 6 bottles a day, then your job is to sell them 6 bottles a day. Okay, 6 bottles a day. If they want only 4, your job is to bang on their head until they agree to buy 6. Because that's what will give them the value, not 4, but 6. However, if somebody comes to you and says, well, I want 8, what do you tell them? No, 6 is enough. 6 is enough. And there are people in our trainings that did not get the permission to go to a year training because we thought that would be too much for them. They are not ready for that, whatever it is. They needed to stay there. So you need to make sure that you give the quantity that the person actually really need. Okay, so if they need a year program with you, then give them a year program and sell that. But if they only need 1 session because that's all they need, a little push, then just give them 1 session and send them off. Does that make sense? For me, that's what I mean by integrity. I'm just giving you a few examples for what integrity means for me. Another part of integrity is that you communicate straight and truthful about your product or service. Okay, don't invent stuff. Okay, make sure that if you're telling that your car is driving from 0 to 100, in a certain amount of time, make sure that it's real and in real life situation and not in the laboratory when it's a special test driver that was trained in NASA. Okay, make sure that you communicate truthfully about that. Don't promise people results that they cannot achieve. It's okay to say, listen, guys, you need to implement in order to get the result. But give them the results that they can actually achieve. And sometimes it changes. Sometimes I'll see somebody that has so much potential, I'll tell him, you can achieve it. But I look at somebody else and I say, you might only be able to double, not to triple or quadruple. It's important to communicate this way. So that's part, for me, part of integrity. And the last thing is whatever you promise, keep to your promises. Keep to your promises. One of my favorite examples is when we're telling you that we have a special deal for you, and that special deal is available until 7 o'clock in the evening or in the break, then that's it. And 5 minutes later, it's not existing. And I will keep that integrity, and that's really, really important for us. Because otherwise, people, if you break your integrity, you don't deliver what you promised, people will start at one point to lose the trust, which Rudolph communicate how important it is. Does that make sense? Yes. Integrity. Remember that. When you do that in the integrity, then you will never get those responder of the response that you're like a snake charmer or like a second-hand salesperson. You will sin as a person with integrity. The second one. If your offer, it's the second I, but I'll get to that. If your offer is great and you did your marketing right, I mentioned that before, then selling becomes something very, very simple called informing. This is all what sales is when your offer is great and when your marketing is done right. Then the only thing that is left, if we'll go back to this line that we described, if you have a great offer and your marketing was great, then all you have to tell them is, this is my product or service, and this is what you have to pay for it. That's it. It's information, and it's a lot easier than trying to push and sell and create pressure, etc. It's only about informing, nothing more. So informing is educating them about two things. About the existence of your product or service. They need to know that it exists. Most of you don't let people even know. I go into some of your websites, and it's not clear what is it that you're giving. Okay, so when you're having a great marketing and great offer, then all you need to tell them is my product or service, my solution to your problem exists, and those are the details of the offer. This is what you need to pay, this is the terms, this is what you're going to get exactly, and this is when you're going to get it, etc. Just informing. Does that make sense? Yes. That's the second I, the inform. The third one. We talked about offer. Offer always includes two parts. What are the two parts? Yeah, give me those this and that, what it actually means. From the point of the client, what do I get and what do I pay? Okay? What do I get and what do I pay? There's always two parts. What do I get and what do I pay? That's the only questions that people really ask themselves when they are in a buying position, in a buying decision. What do I get and what do I pay? We'll talk about the pay in a moment, because pay is not always in money, or not only in money. Okay? Now, the value of the offer, of the value for the client, can be represented in a very simple mathematical formula. It goes like this. The value is equal, the value from the point of the client is equal to what they get divided by what they pay, which means that in order to get the value higher, what can you do? You can either get what they get bigger, right? Bigger. You can get what they get bigger for the same price, right? So, for example, 2 for the price of 1, it's a bigger get for the same price. Give me some more example of how can you increase what they get. Bonuses, free things that you're doing with that. You're adding service for that. Anything that you can add to what they get. Okay, what they get. Now, the other way to do that is you can get what they pay smaller. Okay, smaller. So if they get the same thing, but the price is lower, then there is more value, right? So what's the easiest way to get them to pay less? Give them a discount. Okay, give them a discount this way or another. How do you communicate that? That's not so important for now. But you give them to pay less for the same thing, right? Now, here's what becomes very interesting. If you increase what they get and at the same time decrease what they pay, the value goes exponentially high. Okay, go exponentially high. So the next I, the third I that I wanted to communicate to you is what we call the irresistible offer. The irresistible offer. Irresistible offer is simply giving them tons of value for very low cost. For very low cost. That's the whole science of irresistible offer. All right, so that's a little bit about the 3 I's and what I think are the most important parts in selling.